Hello, today's lesson is going to look at the PESTELE analysis model, which is sometimes called the steeple analysis. Now, why is this important? It's important so we can continually monitor our external environment, so things that would happen that are outside of our control. It gives you an all-round view of what is happening outside of your organisation. It gives you an idea of social and behavioural trends of your customers. Everything that is outside of your own control. However, these factors have got a huge impact on business and product design, and it's a fundamental marketing tool to use at the start of any new idea. So if you're interested in a career in marketing, this analysis model and theory is something which you should get your head around because it will be really useful in your future career. Now, the P stands for political factors. Now, when we're considering political factors, we might be thinking as product designers, we don't really understand politics, or we might not have an interest in politics, or thinking, well, how does having an interest in politics really matter to product design? But it does. So we can split this down into different sections. So you can look at government policies, political stability, overseas markets, if you want your product to travel overseas and be sold worldwide, different taxes, laws that are made. An organisation needs to respond to changes in the political landscape. So use these as tools to help you gather questions and information you could then use to research for your political factors relating to your idea. Economic factors. Now, economic and the economy is all about money. So you can look at profits, interest rates, inflation, disposable income, and economic growth. Now, for product design and development, disposable income of your target market is quite important when it comes to your pricing strategy. So you need to think, do people have X amount of income to be able to spend on a product that they might not need? Or will they be able to afford the product that they really do need on the disposable income that they have? Social factors. Now, this is all to do with people and the community. Now, with this, you can look at people's attitudes. You might want to look at population. So population growth, an ageing population, a boom in childbirth, so then you have an emerging younger generation. Now, population demographics is really important to product design because it helps you with your target market. You can look at age distribution of the population. You can look at health. So with the recent COVID-19, health and product design was really important when you think of the ventilators, face masks, PPE, and all of the different products that emerged because of this health crisis. You can also look at career attitudes, people's trends and interests. Now, trends are forecast prior to them actually going out. So you can look at trend forecasting websites to see what's going to happen with trends over the next few years to come. Now, this is based on lots of different things, from politics, music, movies, interests, emerging technologies. So they're all really important. You can also look at current news articles and topics that are popular in the news. Technological factors will include hardware, software, costs, resources that are available, up-and-coming trends in technology, thinking about how people actually communicate, advertising, and emerging technology. Environmental factors to consider would be raw materials and sourcing your materials, thinking about the pollution that you would need or you might create when you are manufacturing your product or distributing your product. Thinking about sustainability and those 6 R's of sustainability, how can you use those to make a sustainable product? Looking at your carbon footprint. Now, this would also link in with the political agenda, as different governments have got carbon footprint documents for you to look at, and that you have to meet a certain carbon footprint criteria. And also thinking, is your product and manufacturing ethical? Legal factors to consider in product design and development are really important. You need to think about health and safety, so you could look at the BSI standards. You could also look at advertising standards and laws. Are you providing equal opportunities with your product? What about consumer rights? How are you going to label your product to make sure that it is legal? And also product safety. So considering all of these at the initial stage of your product development means that by the time you get to the end, you would have covered all of these legal factors and you would have a safe product, which complies with legal legislation. Now, there is a new addition to this model about ethical factors. Now, this is looking at moral, ethical, fair trade, slavery acts, child labour, corporate and social responsibility, and charity, local and social goals. Now, this is really important in terms of new product development. A lot of businesses are using corporate and social responsibility to entice people to buy their products. So some examples of corporate social responsibility could be reducing your carbon footprint, improving labour policies, participating in fair trade, charitable giving, volunteering in the community, corporate policies that benefit the environment, and socially and environmentally conscious investments. Now, some campaigns that we're going to look at now that have included corporate social responsibility. So you have Innocent Juice. They launched their Big Knit campaign, creating hats for their drinks, which raised money for Age UK. So by buying one of these hats for your drinks, even though it is a bit of a novelty and a bit of a fun thing to do, it does have a really important cause because it's given the money back to Age UK. McDonald's have got a youth programme to provide pre-employment training and development. And Barclays Digital Eagles programme provides training on coding and information on digital skills and staying safe online. Having these ethical factors for a product or business encourages the public to buy the product, as by doing so you are donating to a good cause and helping others. Let's look at some more examples. Marc Jacobs, the fashion label, partners with SATO, a charity dedicated to rescuing abandoned dogs in Puerto Rico and placing them in loving homes. In the aftermath of Hurricane Maria, they were able to rescue over 1,000 homeless puppies and make sure that they were rehomed. Abercrombie & Fitch, which is a fashion brand for teenagers, has launched a 5-year, $15 million partnership with Serious Fun Children's Network to support community camps and programs for children with serious illnesses. Another company using corporate social responsibility is IKEA. Now, IKEA are doing lofts and starter homes all over the world. The Swedish mega chain also works globally to support communities in crisis, whether by building schools, donating toys, or facilitating access to drinking water. The IKEA Foundation has given over $2.3 million to bring clean electricity, combined with 1 million people in India and East Africa. The photo that we've got by here was taken during another IKEA initiative, War Child, which creates safe children's play spaces in the Middle Eastern conflict zones. So they are corporate social responsibility and using their brand and their money to provide good services to lots of causes around the world. There are other examples that you could consider when conducting your PESTELE analysis. So for example, if we look at social, if we look at what companies now offer responding to COVID-19, remote working from home, deliveries that companies didn't do deliveries previous to this and now delivering their goods and services to people. The COVID-19 crisis was something that we couldn't control. It's been brought into our lives and we have to change and adapt accordingly. So there are other companies such as beauty salons who are delivering manicure sets to keep them in business. This not only offers the service to the community and to their customers, but it also increases the lifetime value. Concerts and other events have been providing virtual streams into people's homes using technology. These are all responses to things that are going on in the world right now to improve social factors. Environmental factors, another one which you could consider, is things like weather reporting. So this is used by theme parks. They can make predictions on the weather and this will help them with how many people will be coming to the theme park and also how many staff members they actually need in the theme park to work on specific times of the year. Now on this slide, which you can have a look at in your own time, I've also found online different PESTELE analysis of high-end companies that you would all know about. So you've got Nike, Coca-Cola, Uber and Apple. So let's look at an example. So from my SWOT analysis, my 4Ps and decision matrix, I can conclude that this is a good idea. So this is where all of you should be. So you've brainstormed your ideas, you've analysed the context using the 3-2-1 method to generate a variety of ideas, you've come up with some initial working briefs, and then you've conducted your SWOT and your 4Ps and your decision matrix to decide which one will be the best one moving forward. So with this example that I've come up with is a sensory light feature for a young child who is suffering with a sensory disability to be used in school or at home to improve health and well-being and provide relaxation during times where they may feel anxious or stressed. This should enable the user to explore without causing harm and interact without risk. This product could provide a multifunction purpose. So this is my idea that I'm working with. I've got some examples here of different types of sensory lighting in sensory rooms that already exist on the market. Now, when you first start your PESTELE analysis, you might have a page like this. Starting may seem a little bit daunting. You may find yourself looking at the page just going, I just don't know what to do. This is okay. Now I'm going to show you a way that I would tackle a PESTELE analysis, and hopefully it will help you conduct your own PESTELE analysis. So you will need open a Word document and the slides on this PowerPoint, which you can find in the Teams files section, to help you start your PESTELE analysis journey. Okay, so we're going to look at how to start a PESTELE analysis. I've got an example of a product idea here to create a sensory light for a young child suffering with autism or a sensory disability. You then go into open a Word document and have the PowerPoint open alongside it. This is what I would recommend. Now with this, you've got on the slides different key areas that you need to think of for each of the different PESTELE factors. So when we're looking at political, we've got political factors such as government policy, political stability, overseas markets, taxes, laws, and organisations that need to respond to changes in the political landscape. So in my Word document, I thought, well, the government policy on children with disabilities. How stable is the current government and what are their views on disability healthcare and guidance? Are there any taxes on equipment that helps disabled people? What disability laws are there for children with disabilities? And are there any changes that are going to be happening in the political landscape? I've then used the editor feature in Word to make sure there are no spelling or grammatical errors. And then I'm going to move on to the next one, which is economic factors. Again, I'm going to be looking over here at the list and seeing if any of these will link to my idea of creating a sensory light for a child with a disability. I'm then writing down the key questions here that I will need to research. Once I've done this, I'm then going to move on to social factors. So social factors, we've got attitudes. So are people's attitudes towards disability changing? What are the current population rates for children with a sensory disability? Are they increasing or decreasing? Can we make a prediction about the future of the rates of children with sensory disabilities? What age are they diagnosed at? What other health issues does a sensory disability have? And could the product help with these other health issues as well? Does having a sensory disability affect overall health and well-being? And are there any current trends for a young person? So maybe I need to look at predicted trends and anything topical in the news about this. So I've thought then of my social factors. I'm now moving on to technological factors. So is there anything in technology currently going on for lighting? Is there any software that can help me create a lighting sequence? What about low running costs? Is it energy efficient? What resources will I need to create the light? Any up and coming or new technological trends for 2021? Now I'm looking at the environment, so I'm looking at raw materials. So where can I source the materials for this product? What about pollution? Is there any sustainability factors that I need to consider? Will I need to consider my carbon footprint? This also links to political because you've got the government's carbon footprint, things that you need to take into consideration, and also will my product be ethical? So I've thought, is the manufacturing ethical? Could I use it outside? What's the product life cycle of the product? What happens at the end of life? So these are all environmental factors I might need to consider. In terms of legal, I've got health and safety. So then I'm going to be looking at BSI standards for lighting and children's toys. Also, for making a product for a disabled child, are there any legal advertising standards? How will I ensure equal opportunities for specific groups of people? Do I need to consider consumer rights? What about product labelling and product safety? So I need to consider all of these different things in my product when designing and researching. Now the new addition, which is ethics for the PESTELE analysis. So as this product is for children with a disability, how can I ensure that it's morally correct? How can I make sure that it's manufactured without the use of slavery or unethical working conditions? And also having a corporate social responsibility. So this could be a unique selling point by having a charity or local cause to support when buying this product. So I've come up with these key questions that I would like to use to help me with my PESTELE analysis. I am now going to start answering these questions by looking at credible and reliable sources online. This will then help me form an overview of what my product is going to do moving forward. So I thought I'd let you know about this little trick that I sometimes use for market research. So I'm looking at the question that I've highlighted here in the economic section. Will the light be profitable? Look at the market and see if there's a need for this. Now, one way of doing this is I've looked on Amazon for a sensory room. Now, on Amazon, it's got over 20,000 results for a sensory room. So I've put in, there is a need for sensory lighting. There are many on the market. Looking at Amazon, there are over 20,000 results for a sensory light or room. Now, I can look down on this filter section here, and I can see that the products are for age 3 to 4 and 5 to 7. So I can pop in here. According to Amazon, the products are for children aged 3 to 7. Now there isn't really a filter for any of the other age ranges. The colours that they use are generally blue and green, so that might lead me onto some more research onto colour theory, like why is blue and green the main colours? So they've also got some other things, so works with Alexa, so I might want to consider that when I'm looking at technology. And I've also got a range of different brands, and I've got the reviews, so I might want to look at the high reviews. I might also want to look at the lower reviews to see what's actually wrong with them. Now if I go on to here, I can go to lighting. So the price ranges, so they start at around £15 and go to over £200. Okay, so they're the different stats that I've got from there. Now I might want to see then if there's any brands that I want to look at. So these are the brands, so I might want to focus on the ones which have got quite a lot of them. So this one here, 165 different ones, and see if anything is suitable. So it's a good way of just sort of looking at the market and seeing what's out there for your customer. So then if you were looking at under £15, then you can sort of have a look at what's available for that price range as well. So there seems to be a need for it. Just looking at that would give you a good idea of how to look at the market and see what's available. I want to quickly show you the website Office for National Statistics that is really helpful when you're trying to find out statistics and facts based on the UK. Now, the Office for National Statistics is based in Newport in Wales, and they collect data on all different things from all over the UK to be able to provide accurate information, or the most accurate information they can, which then influences products, policy, governments, health, funding, etc. So I've gone onto the website to try and help me with the disposable income of a UK family with a child who has a sensory disability. Now, I haven't been able to filter it down to a child who has a sensory disability, but I found this graph here which looks at disposable income over time. So you can see it did peak in about 2010, but it is starting to go down again. So it ends at 2018, this graph here. I've also got some information saying that the UK disposable income inequality has increased by 1.3%, and that the median disposable income in the UK was £29,600 for the financial year ending 2019. I've then got some disposable income graphs that I can analyse, and I've also downloaded some data sets, which is where I am now, looking at ONS dataset 2018. Number of disabled children in a work-class household was 1,036. So now how this works is you can use the search function. So you can search in here something that you're looking for, and then it will bring up a variety. So I searched disability and children. So it's come up with all of these different articles here and reports based on disability and children. So a lot of them is to do with just the keyword disability. So I've got disability in young people. Okay, so you can click on any of these and it will bring you up reports based on what you've looked at. Now there's quite a lot of them. So I'm going to click on the top one here. So this is giving me a spotlight in disability data in the UK, coronavirus and the social impacts. So if I wanted to have a look at the spotlight one, it tells me who I can contact. Now we do have a link with ONS for our college, so if you wanted to go onto Twitter and tweet the ONS with a question regarding a data set that you have found, then they have said they will try their best to contact and get back to our students. So if you say that you're from St David's Catholic College, and you can also contact them directly on here as well as on Twitter. So if you've got any further questions related to the data set that you can't find. So then it will give you the key areas that it looks at, so education, employment, housing, crime, well-being, social participation, and it will take you through a summary of the report. Now the summary is quite good to actually look at, and then if you wanted to find out more information, you can click on the different links. You can also download Excel documents as well, which you can then do your own analysis of that data. So I'm going to look on here and try and find some information that's going to help me with my economic questions from my PESTELE analysis. So have a look at the ONS and see if there's anything on there that you can find. So I might want to take some of these points because it might help me with my product development and research. So this here, the fact that disabled people were likely to have been involved in a group, club or organisation, so 67.9%, this makes me think, well, okay, so with my product then, I might want to actually put it to a group, club or organisation, because 67.9% of people with a disability attend these clubs or groups. So they might be someone that I'd want to go and target for my product. So I want to take that, copy that, and just pop it into my document for now. Now I've already got my citation, so I can put that in there. So I'm just going to have a little look at it and see if there's anything that I can add which will help me with my product design development. Okay, so now I have got my questions and I've been online and I've done a lot of research. So you can see here all of the information that's in red is all of the secondary research that I've carried out to answer the questions that I've got from the PESTELE factors. So now I need to synthesize this research into what I'm actually going to need. So I've got my PowerPoint on the side here, and I've got all of my research in this Word document. So I've gone through each section, so I've looked at the political factors and I've highlighted the key research that I think that are going to be important to my designs. So from where I've highlighted this, I'm then going to go into here and to start typing out the bits which I need here and put the key information into here that I'm actually going to use. Now again, any sort of research that needs to be referenced, I'll make sure I include the reference as well. But once you've done this, don't delete the Word document, keep it, because you can have this as additional evidence for your AO1 looking at different design opportunities and possibilities. So that is a way which you can do your PESTELE analysis. Okay, so now you have seen how I started my PESTELE analysis and how I got the answers for them. I've put the questions into this PowerPoint so you can see the different questions that I've come up with for political, economical, social, technological, environmental, legal and ethics. So these are now all areas that I can start my secondary research from. From doing all of my secondary research, as you've seen, I can then synthesize this research into the key areas from that research. So I've got my political, I've got my environmental, my social, technological, economical, legal, and ethical factors that I am going to make sure that I can include to the best of my ability in my product design and development. I've decided that the corporate social responsibility for my product, which could also be a unique selling point, is when you purchase the product, a percentage of the sales goes into community outreach projects to educate others about disability through social media and advertising campaigns. If you need more help at the PESTELE analysis, this waggle is on Teams. You should now have a better understanding of your project idea, and you should be able to add some more information into your SWOT analysis, because from your PESTELE analysis you should have more strengths and maybe even come across some more weaknesses for your project idea. You might also then want to add to your marketing mix using the place, product, promotion and price, because you might have looked at these factors when considering your PESTELE analysis. So with this new information, you are further embedding a deeper understanding and analysis to all of the decisions that you've made. I would then tidy up your research document and include this in the appendix of your feasibility study. The appendix, if you didn't know, is further information which is held at the end of a professional document, which you might not want in the main body of the document, but it is key for further reading. So now you've completed your PESTELE. Add to your SWOT, add more strengths and weaknesses. Complete further research into areas you have identified. Tidy up your answers to make sure that they're all referenced using the Harvard referencing system and that you've got as much information as you possibly can. Make sure you make note of what you will need to include in your product. This will help you later in the design process. So add in that what have I learned and next steps to the end of your page is a really good idea, because this can be a checklist as you work through your design ideas. Thank you everybody, so hopefully now you know what to do to conduct a PESTELE analysis, and I look forward to seeing what you come up with. Bye guys! Okay, so this is what I meant by tidying up your PESTELE analysis questions. Now you have this guide on Teams for you to access. So I've included a front cover. Now I did this by going to Insert and then clicking on Cover Page. You can choose many cover pages that Word has already done for you by here, and that will give your document more of a professional touch. I have then gone through and made sure that there was no errors in my document, so no spelling errors, no grammar errors, and I did this by using the editor function by here. So if you click on the editor function, it will give you lots of different ways of improving your document. If you go on to refinements, it will also give you further help with getting a professional document ready. So that's the editor feature. I have then made sure that I've gone through and I've added some headings. I've made sure that it's all in the same font, and I've put things in bold. I've also then, where I've got my answers, I've gone through and highlighted all of the key information that I want to use in my project that I found out from my research. So some really good synthesis on my deeper analysis which I did to find out my answers. Now, if this was mine, I might want some more images here to actually find out about trends, and I might want some examples as well to go alongside it. So I've got lots of information here. I've then got my reference list at the end, which I did by going on to references and going on to bibliography and clicking on references, and it does it all for me. So I don't have to keep track of all of the different links that I have used throughout my document. I've also added a little conclusion at the end for the what have I learned and the next steps. So I've now got quite a professional looking document which has got lots of initial research and thoughts and ideas, which is going to help me through all stages of my design process. Now, this is all using Word. So if you quickly go through Word, you've got all of these things here. Make use of the styles, so using the headings and the designs. When you go on to insert, make use of using the pictures directly from Word, as it will have the reference included with it. You've got shapes, icons, graphs, inserting videos and objects. If you go on to draw, then you can draw on your screen if you've got a touch screen, or you can just use your mouse and do some quick sketches. You've got the design features here to give your pages a bit more of a professional touch. So you can see as I hover over each of these, you can see the style of my document slightly changes. You've also got some layout features. The references is great because you can add a table of contents. You can put all of your references in there. It will give you a bibliography, and you can insert captions. And then you've got the review as well. So the editor I recommend, the thesaurus if you're looking for other types of words. And there's lots of other changes that you can make on here. So really take advantage of all of those features that Word has.